I'm very happy today because I have a colleague, a good friend of mine, Dr. Dulce Flores of the University of the Philippines in Mindanao, an award-winning food scientist. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
So she's going to present another
An
award-winning research.
research.
Okay. Just explain the details of that PowerPoint, ma'am.
The title of my research is on natural lovastatin from red yeast rice or angka in the local language. This is a possible alternative for statin drugs. Statins for the body, for the group, if you don't know what statins are, a substance that lowers cholesterol level by inhibiting the enzyme HMG-CoA reductase. And red yeast rice is not rice, but it has been eaten up by the fungus called Monascus purpureus. It looks like rice, and yet it is now filled with the fungus. So this is a picture of the organism in the petri dish and in this lamp. We grow this in rice. After 3 weeks, it becomes all filled with the fungus, soft to your touch. It can be powdered. That is the red yeast rice, ready as an ingredient in food coloring. But recently, late 2007 to 2010, it has been reported in literature to have so many benefits, nutritional benefits and nutraceutical benefits. Angkak has a long history as food colorant and folk medicine in China to improve food digestion, blood circulation. For food, it has long used in China, but in the Philippines, it is used for preservatives in the burong isda, balaw-balaw in the Pampanga area, and in Japan, it's even used for their tofu and many other food preparations. So China has been the first to use that for centuries now. So all over Asia, but recently the US has been convinced that it has this statin component. So red yeast rice contains at least 9 substances similar in structure to statins. Angkak contains 0.4% by weight of monacolin, another word for lovastatin. This is the monacolin K component. 50% of the statin content is monacolin K. Lovastatin is quite expensive. It's not even available in the Philippines. For those who are not familiar, if you have heard of Zocor, Mevacor, Levacor, then this is it. This is an hypercholesteremic compound. For a little biochemistry, statins will stop at this point the synthesis of cholesterol. So in your body, we are synthesizing cholesterol. We have the capability. But if we keep on eating high cholesterol foods, these are useless because your body itself can make it. But this is where the synthesis can be stopped using statins. But you know, statins nowadays have side effects because these are synthetic drugs. And nobody will refute you if you say that you suffer from side effects if you always take statins. Okay. There's more discovered in 2000. It's an anti-diabetic. Angkak is anti-diabetic. I have literatures to show that. It's anti-hypertensive, anti-obesity, anti-atherosclerosis, antioxidant, and more later about cancer, hypertension, Alzheimer's, macular degeneration, etc. In the Philippines, Angkak has been used in Luzon but not in Visayas and Mindanao. The level of addition is not standardized. The supply now comes from Taiwan and China only. Nobody is making in the Philippines. Okay, our lab did this study. We studied 7 different strains to find out the highest lovastatin producing so that we can produce our own angkak in the future. So these were the strains that I studied. 3 of them from Japan Riken and 5 from the Philippine Culture Collection in UP Los Baños. So I did screening so that I will find which of our Philippine strains will give us more lovastatin. So this is the methodology. And the results showed. This is how we did it by HPLC in the lab and by TLC. for identification and quantification of lovastatin. The highest came from the Riken group of organisms, but by contract, I cannot use it for commercial purposes. But our Philippine strain came in second. So I have now a good bet for production if I like. So that's how we ranked. And then I compared it with found in literature strains. The Riken strain was still highest, but our strain also was comparable with the other strains. These are the products containing angkak. For those who do not know what angkak is, it can be put in biscuits. Like in Taiwan, almost any food that they can put angkak, they put it there. We have our product dev student in UP Mindanao putting it on tocino, and in the sensory evaluation, it proved to be more tasty because angkak has proteases. Proteases will make our food more tasty because of hydrolysis of the proteins. In Malaysia, they are selling it as coffee, reduced coffee, and all over Asia. The Philippines is not so keen on using angkak anymore for food color because they have an easier way to color their food using dyes, erythrocin dye, which is not good. And so these are the products in US, which I learned has been banned by the US FDA. For what reason? They are now banning this because the lovastatin content is a bit high, which is now classified as drug. And when it is now a drug, it has to go through the 10-15 years process of proving by clinical testing and so many things. So people in the US who have been used to taking this because there's no side effect, they now have to smuggle from Canada, from Taiwan, and other countries. My aim is to produce this here in the Philippines and prove that it is not hazard for our statin drinking people or statin. Conclusion, we have now a candidate for making the angkak, and a process has been optimized for our strain. We want to do this, and we will have to have our own tests to prove that our supposedly nutraceutical or drug in capsules will be good enough for our people. And we would like to have a lab because I asked the APCHRD to help me set up a lab for my nutraceuticals to be analyzed before dissipating to the public. Daghang salamat.